what he said was spot on. Was definitely the weird concept into it, like something that's.
Yeah, it's definitely, which isn't bad. Yeah, it can be very good, but yeah, definitely the weird part I wanted to emphasize right at the beginning, because if I like it or not, whether I like it or dislike it, I know it's going to be weird.
See, I've noticed that I might be the autism brain, but I won't view weird shit as weird.
Maybe.
And I'll watch it with someone else, and they're like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I'm sitting up to the bright colors go brr.
Welcome to Idiot Block, a comedic podcast critiquing, discussing, and analyzing the media industry through reviews, debates, and historical deep dives.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Idiot Plot. I'm David Yanis. Joining me as always are my co-hosts Alex Overdahl.
Insert clever quote.
And Justin Neitzel.
Ahoy.
On today's episode, we're going to talk about a bunch of random stuff. We're going to talk about some news stories. We're going to kind of analyze each other's film choices. We're going to talk about other stuff that we watched or just kind of want to talk about that might be relevant in current media stuff. Because there's nothing really going on. There's nothing big coming yet. It's not Halloween yet. It's not Oscar season yet. So we're just going to have a conversation this week about random entertainment topics we like. And to start, I want to get off the bat with some news stories that are pretty big. We're going to start now with the one that is the joke of the internet right now. On the latest Nintendo Direct, Shigeru Miyamoto came on and announced the cast of the Illumination Super Mario Brothers movie. And oh boy, it's...
Where's Idris Elba?
It's a winner. He should be in this movie. But announced to play the lead role of Mario in the Super Mario Bros. Movie is Chris Pratt. He's so cool. Quote Shigeru Miyamoto. That's the one that I think most people are like, what the hell are they doing? But on top of that, we have Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach, Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Jack Black as Bowser, and my personal favorite casting choice as the immortal Donkey Kong, Seth Rogen.
Let's be honest, this is just a weird casting in general of every character.
It seems fake. It seems like it's a fan cast, like the shitty IMDb fan cast made by a 15-year-old who's seen 3 movies that all came out in the last 2 years.
All that had Chris Pratt or Jack Black in it.
And like I like Anya Taylor-Joy, I like Seth Rogen, I like Chris Pratt, but as Mario characters, nah. I mean, it's not like Mario already has a voice actor.
Collection of the people who are in everything.
It really is, though.
You also said it's Illumination, so I'm already kind of like halfway out the door.
I mean, well, that's the big thing, right? Is first off, Illumination doing Mario is a bad idea to just begin with. They make garbage.
Yeah, and this comes from a guy who loves animated movies. Their movies are really bad.
The corporate trash. I mean, stuff like the Despicable Me is bad but harmless.
Yeah, well, no, it's not harmless because then it became the whole Minion phase came about.
That's true. You're right.
Which then
just enraged all of the moms.
Yeah.
I love their Minion memes. I apologize for nothing.
No, I fully agree.
Always don't be afraid to be a little weird. Minion picture.
My aunt does it.
They're so bad. But even then, we have stuff like the Lorax, which is just horribly insulting.
I speak for the trees.
The Lorax, and that movie speaks for fucking IHOP and Volkswagen. But the other big issue I have with this movie is, Illumination is a big guilty party in this. I hate it. I hate when big Hollywood animated movies cast actors instead of voice actors.
Yeah.
Jack Black can voice act, and people are shit saying that Chris Pratt's not a voice actor. He actually is. He's in Lego Movie. He's not bad.
Yeah.
I don't think he's Mario, but he's not bad. But there are probably very many better people to play those characters that just based off voice acting, right? Because this isn't live action. This is voice acting. We had live action Mario. Didn't end well.
No.
Justin, was it you I saw that with?
Yes.
At the Time Theater?
I think it was you, me, Jerome, and Clay.
And Justin Burley, I think, was there too.
Yeah, I think he was with us too.
That was my idea, and I did it knowing how bad it was. I did it just to see if I could prank and like troll all of them at work.
To be fair, I didn't hate myself until like we're like 30 minutes to the end, and I'm like, okay, just end it right now. I just want to get up and get out of here.
Have you seen it, Alex?
I have not. I'm afraid to.
It's like Mario Blade Runner.
I've seen like clips of it.
That is a very
set design is like straight out Blade Runner. And there's like, and there's all like the weird like cyberpunk stuff with it, and Dennis Hopper is clearly not having a good time.
Neither is Bob Hoskins.
Well, he was drunk for most of it.
Nearly died because of it.
Yeah, because Leguizamo got plowed and then drove a stunt car into a set piece. Okay, the big question I have for you guys is do you like this cast? Or are you going to see the movie? I don't think either of you are big Nintendo fans, so.
I mean, I'd have to wait for a trailer to see how it looks, but it's already got several strikes against it. Just being Illumination, and the cast is just way out of left field.
Yeah, there's a 0% chance I see this movie.
Well, because you almost know exactly how this movie is going to be just from this cast.
Yeah.
I can already picture it. It's going to be the colors, like the lighting is going to be really bright. It's going to have a boopy trailer with, boopy music, and it's going to be very light, adventurous, and it's going to be aggressively mediocre.
It's gonna all have the late 2020 music hits.
Yeah, and it's just gonna be like painfully average.
It's not gonna be High Hopes. It might be High Hopes. The Penny Disco. I'm trying to think of the trailer song.
What's popular? Whatever is like, it's got to be like top 5 hit right now.
Mm-hmm. But like kid appropriate, right?
Oh, so WAP's out of the question.
That'd be hilarious, actually. Honestly, the only casting choice of this movie that I'm actually kind of okay with is Charlie Day as Luigi.
I agree with that. I like that one a little bit.
Everyone's making fun of that one. That could actually be kind of funny.
I mean, that fits more than the other ones.
Yeah, like I can see his voice as Luigi, honestly. The other ones, I can't even picture what they're going to sound like.
Chris Pratt's just going to basically be Chris Pratt and chill dude and be like, oh, come on, Luigi, we got to go fix some pipes.
Oh, no, Bowser took Princess Peach.
Again.
Well, I'm going to get her back. I mean, Anya Taylor-Joy can voice act too. She's Dark Crystal. I just don't think she has the right voice for Peach because her voice isn't very distinct.
Yeah, they're just like, who's the most popular actress right now? All right.
I mean, honestly, she can't act super great and stuff. It's not Star Wars, but Daisy Ridley probably wouldn't have been terrible.
I can picture that.
She's done voice acting before.
But anyway, that's the Mario movie.
Can we just do the Always Sunny and as Mario? Just put Glenn Howerton as Luigi. Switch Charlie Day over to Mario. Kalen Olsen as Peach. I just casted this movie. Just feel free to use it, everybody.
That would actually work. I mean, I guess my issue is I don't see a Yoshi or a Wario or a Waluigi in that cast. So
obviously, Luigi is Danny DeVito.
Wario's Danny DeVito.
Oh, that's what. Yeah, that's what I meant.
I know who could be Waluigi. Jeffrey Epstein.
Try to get Adam Driver in it.
Oh yeah, then you'll get a whole different section of the market if you do that.
Anyway, that's the Mario movie cast. Moving on to the other big-ish story of the week. Marvel is currently suing the family members of some of the creators of their most famous characters to keep the rights ahead of an upcoming copyright termination. We've seen this play out before. Disney settled with Jack Kirby's estate for this. Warner Brothers lost a fight against the estates of Jerry Siegel and Joel Schuster in the fight for the first. I think they lost. They lost or settled. They did not win. I don't know that for a fact. But they're now currently fighting to keep the rights of some of their biggest name characters, such as Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the rest, and having to avoid paying the family a large chunk of the profits from this point on.
Wow.
So thoughts?
We want more money.
Yeah, I mean, like, people like act like because of the image of Disney. Again, we've talked about it how many times, but this is like one of those blatant examples. Like, yeah, Disney is like probably the most like bloodthirsty corporation in media, but they get a pass because of their reputation of being like family friendly. But yeah, this
because
I
want to see Iron Man again and Captain America.
Yeah, I want my movies. So yeah, like they just go after
correction.
people. possible.
Quick correction I'll make: The Lawsuit for Superman is currently still pending a appeal court ruling.
Yeah.
So it's not been settled yet. But this is currently ongoing. This is big.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're trying to Steamboat Willie the MCU characters.
Well, see, Alex, to your point, this won't prevent people from getting their movies. It'll just control who gets the profits from the movies.
Right, they get made either way. It's just Disney wants an even larger share of what the outrageous amount they're already making, and just taking it away from like the families of the people who created it.
And the real big question, which is the whole center of this debate, is were these works for hire, or were they works for the publisher? Basically, do they get to keep the rights? If it's works for hire, they don't get to keep the rights. But if it's works, I think, sold to Marvel, then they do.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty like this is pretty and this is a story that got, I think, pretty misrepresented early on. People were saying like Marvel was going to lose all the rights to the characters, and that's just not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's just full control.
They're trying to create a narrative. Well, if we don't get this, then we don't get them in the movies, and then the fans will back
movies.
Then the fans will back Disney.
When really they should be backing the supporters, because this shit is why working in comics is such a joke.
Mm-hmm.
It's why you don't want to do it, because you can make Thanos like Jim Starling's been talking a lot about how he created Thanos, the lead villain of the highest grossing movie of all time. He hasn't made a cent.
I just have to throw on that out.
With Marvel.
That's just sad.
And the big publishers get away with it because people just want to work in comics, and they will accept anything just say I work in comics. But it's not a great gig.
No.
Just because the profit margins are already super thin, and they didn't want to pay you any more than they have to, which is not much.
I'd like to know how much. I'd like to know how much money they stand to gain from this. Because, like you said, there's not a lot of profit in comics, but yet they don't want to.
Well, here's the thing: the profit isn't in the comic books. Which is what they are paying you for. The profit comes in the licensing and merchandise rights.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And any adaptation work.
Mm-hmm. If it's work for hire and they own every IP that you make, well, that's one thing. That's fine. But all of a sudden now, if you start owning the creators, royalty fees from merchandise. Think about just with Marvel, right? Think if you even owned a 10% stake in Iron Man. In 1 year, you probably have more money than you'll ever know what to do with.
True.
Maybe not probably as much anymore. That's the thing, is a lot of these characters are kind of on the out.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to kind of see. Spider-Man, obviously, if the Ditko estate gets that Spider-Man ruling, they stand to make a ridiculous amount of money. Because it's Spider-Man. He's not going away.
Nope. I'm sure Sony already has plans for him post-Marvel.
So they're going to make they can make a killing. And they should, honestly. But they won't, in my opinion, I don't think they will win. The Superman one, I was dead wrong. It's in appeals because DC won the lawsuit and the families are appealing. But that was a bigger one where if DC lost that, they wouldn't, I think, they would have to pay the family to use the Superman logo and stuff. It was a lot more severe than this.
Than the Disney one.
Mm-hmm.
Which is just sharing ownership. But I think Marvel would still own a majority stake, I think was part of it. But they have 2 years to sort this out. I guess we'll see if they do.
Probably some hush money will come out some way.
It'll settle. It'll settle with Kirby. They'll settle with them. The family will make a buttload of money just from the settlement. Just in hush money, basically. Of here's some money. Now shut up. And leave us. No, don't contact us again. Basically.
Don't talk to me or my son ever again.
And we'll move on. Is that what you guys kind of think? Do you think it'll settle, or do you think that they might actually go to trial?
This stuff usually ends in settlement, especially for a company that big. Just be like, okay, I don't want the publicity of a trial. Here's some money.
Well, that and Disney can go as far as they want. They got all the money. They can hire all the lawyers. And
Disney does seem invulnerable to bad PR.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, somehow it is, even though they're getting sued left and right now. It's still the same image.
Especially in terms of Marvel, right? People will defend anything they do if those characters are involved.
Well, yeah, and I don't know if I saw it, but fact that Scarlett Johansson was trying to sue him or is suing him, and everyone's picking Marvel's side. It's like, wow, you guys are real nice.
Yeah, and I mean, if the contract stated that it got theatrical only, I mean...
Yeah, it's within her rights. I mean, that's...
Yeah.
Well, and the other thing is apparently they restructured Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's contract because Jungle Cruise was going directly to Disney Plus, but they didn't reschedule with her or renegotiate with her.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, ScarJo, and then other rumors come out from that are that the Russo brothers have left Disney because of the ScarJo lawsuit because they're afraid how their back end deals are going to go. I mean, ScarJo stands to lose at least $50 million because of Disney's decision. It was something like it's not like we're not talking chump change here. It's like she basically probably lost the majority of her payment for the role.
And this was probably going to be her biggest payday, considering it's her own solo movie.
Yeah, and she probably took probably 10 mil up front, probably for a huge payday later on with the back end deal.
Punted it how many times too? They punted this movie as long as they possibly could. Then she finally gets it, and there's the big paycheck coming, and then actually we're going to VOD, so you're losing a whole bunch of what you're gonna make, even though in your contract it says we can't.
And remember, it's not like they moved it to HBO Max type thing of free VOD right on the streaming service. You still have to pay $30 to see Black Widow on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Right. So she needs to get a cut of that. Like it's again like we talked about. Like they act like they don't know what to do with streaming money. Like people paying $30 a pop for this, that should be split exactly how ticket income is split.
Mm-hmm. The back end deal should be honored.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And they see it as a way to skirt that and go, oh, actually, you only get a cut of the ticket because we didn't talk about VOD in the deal.
Mm-hmm. It's not on the paper.
Not in the contract.
Anyway, that's it for news stuff.
Well, I got one real quick.
Oh, you do? Go ahead. Bring it.
Ridley Scott reveals he has already written Gladiator 2 and plans to begin filming the sequel after his next film. How the hell are you doing a Gladiator sequel? Maximus is dead. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, they've been traveling around.
What was that?
Because there was the infamous time travel Gladiator 2 one.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because I don't know. I know they've been kicking around versions of it literally like since the movie came out because it was such like a big hit. And like, I'm surprised though to hear, that he has a draft complaint. I mean, Ridley Scott is just going fucking ham right now. So like,
and dude's old.
Yeah, I know. He's like he wants an end of career run here with all the stuff he's making, most of which looks really good. So
I'm not super sold on Last Duel. It looks a little too Oscar baity to me.
Yeah.
But House of Gucci looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm like, I think both look good. I think I don't know if I can say it looks Oscar baity yet, but I know for sure House of Gucci looks really good. That's the one I'm most sold on.
Yeah, I didn't know he was the one doing that.
Yeah, he's doing two movies.
I'm most excited isn't even like, I don't even think they're shooting yet, but or maybe they are soon, but the Napoleon one with Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm reading here. That one's coming before Gladiator 2.
Yeah, because that one is either, I'd imagine they're entering production soon if they haven't already, because that was announced a while ago.
I mean, they have to. Dude's like 85.
Let's go.
And this is going to be a huge movie.
Hey, if it keeps them occupied.
Yeah, that's like another giant.
What do people who retire usually, they have a hard time because they can't find stuff to do? Well, he's fine. He's like, I'm not retiring. I'm going to keep going.
He's like, I'm just upping my rate. I'm not going out on fucking Alien Covenant and Exodus. I'm not going out like that.
And he keeps threatening to make a Blade Runner 3 himself, but I don't think that's going to be happening.
No, especially not after Denis just like made 2049. Like he can't do that now.
Well, that
was too good.
That one, I think that one lose money. I doubt.
Yeah, and that's probably the big reason why they're not going to make another one.
Yeah. Unless all of a sudden Dune makes a bunch of money and he's like, okay, now I want to make Blade Runner 3. Well, since you made all this money with Dune, I guess we can let you do that.
It does look like it's gonna. I'm kind of surprised somehow in a good way, but it does look like Dune is actually gonna make like a good amount of money, which is good because I'm like, oh, big budget, brainy sci-fi. Like, is that gonna make money right now?
The way it looks,
that was the big question.
The way it looks, I kind of want him to make a Star Wars movie now.
I don't.
Oh, I like in theory, My worry, of course, would be that will Disney let him like actually make a movie with a vision, because like otherwise he wouldn't do it.
That's the problem. They wouldn't let him.
And they won't hire him after he said the truth about the Marvel movies recently. Said they're all just ripping up all their movies.
Right.
That's right. Is he wrong though?
No,
But the mouse does not forgive.
True.
I don't expect to see a Scorsese Disney film anytime soon.
I mean, that would be awesome. Really go opposite of Disney. Okay, we're gonna have this guy shoot this guy in the head and blood spurts everywhere.
Martin Scorsese presents The Rescuers Down Under. Starring Robert De Niro.
That was the real Australia, all the scary fucking animals, all the spiders the size of people or whatever the fuck happens over there. Fucking keep me away from that.
Anyway, Alex, do you have a news story for us you want to talk about, or are we moving on?
I don't think I do.
I'm going to take that as a no. I'm going to move on. So I have a question to discuss with the two of you. I've known you guys for quite a while. I've known you for about 6 years. Alex, a little less than that, but still far too long. But I think we've kind of learned each other's tastes enough to kind of understand why we all pick certain movies. So I have a question. So when you think of a David movie or a Justin movie or an Alex movie, what comes to your mind? And I want the other people to primarily answer this, because of course we know what we like, right?
Right.
So Alex,
yes.
When you think of a Justin movie, like the Justin picks a film sort of thing, what are you expecting?
It's from the 90s to early 2000s. I probably haven't heard of it. It probably airs a lot on FX or Sci-Fi.
See, I was gonna say that. I was gonna say when I think of a Justin movie, I think like visualize you're watching FX at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. And whatever's played is he's probably seen it and likes it.
It has Robin Williams, Denzel Washington, or Morgan Freeman.
And if
you're probably never heard of it, and then you look it up, and then you're like, "Oh, this is supposed to be good? I've never heard of this."
If it's a modern movie, it stars Taron Egerton. Yeah. That is probably the big thing is you look it up and you're like, this doesn't sound that bad.
But you've never heard of it.
I've never heard of this.
It's always fun finding the gems that are long forgotten.
Well, there
and
is
it's
one.
Probably also sci-fi or like an inspirational tale of some fashions, like Shawshank type.
You also seem to have an affinity for movies that I have watched in school.
like
Gattaca.
Oh, okay. That's a really good movie, though.
It is a really good movie, but I still watched it in high school biology class.
Well, that's where I watched it, so I mean... Well, I didn't watch it. I watched it in English class, but... See,
what comes to mind for me is the time I saw this movie at HBO Max called... I think it's called Sneakers.
Yep.
And I saw it and like, what the... Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, Dan Aykroyd? How have I never heard of this movie? Like, I look it up and I go on Letterbox, and sure enough, Justin's reviewed it and likes it.
That's the other thing. I guarantee you, if it's from that era, if I go on Letterboxd to rate it after I've seen it, Justin will have seen it.
And to be fair, Sneakers is pretty good.
Yeah. I'm just glad I could... I mean, I don't have the biggest filmography as you guys do, I'm sure, but at least I'm glad I could find stuff that you guys haven't seen that's actually good.
Yeah.
I mean, that is an accomplishment. To have us... Not even just haven't seen, haven't heard of.
What the fuck is this? Oh, it's supposed to be good. Oh, this is good. How have I never heard of this?
Like, wasn't that how you were with Birdcage, Alex?
I'd never heard of this movie ever. Yeah, I literally saw a screening happening near here for it, like on film, like right after after you picked that one. I'm like, wait, this movie's supposed to be good. How have I not heard of this?
Well, it was like Stardust too. Also, turned out Alex loved it a whole lot more than you and me, and I was like,
yeah, I was like the biggest stan of all of us for that movie. That movie slaps.
I mean, that is a good thing though, because I do think that Justin, your tastes are pretty complementary to me and Alex.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, when we come down to who's on whose side thing, he's usually on. It's usually you guys.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Unless it's Amadeus. Suck it.
Hey, I don't hate Amadeus, motherfucker.
I know. Otherwise I wouldn't be here. If you hated Amadeus, I would be on podcast right now. If you hated Amadeus, I wouldn't be on this podcast right now.
That's true. But if you're going to bring up us fighting, you got to bring up Ferris Bueller or Forrest Gump.
Oh, God. Or Glenn Ross.
No, I mean for me and Justin.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
If you want us to disagree. I can't help it that we like better movies than you. Because when I think of an Alex movie, I think of a VHS that's probably 2 tapes that you find in your grandfather's basement. That's like a film from like an old movie that you've never heard of.
That's very long.
Yeah, it's 3 hours long. That your grandfather assures you is good.
And it is.
But even when he watches it, he still falls asleep halfway through.
Well, I fall asleep to anything.
No, but when I do think of Alex, I do think of like, because most of your picks we've done have been at least 2 hours, 40 minutes. A large portion of them.
I've uploaded those and I've done a bunch in a row that were not. However, I was definitely true because I knew sure as hell you were not going to watch those unless I made you.
They're long, they're sad and depressing.
That's
They're old. You probably your college professor probably loves them.
Although, like what we discussed, it's kind of like some of our film professors didn't even show us some of the ones that we've
they should
come across.
Like,
which is true. I will say with you, Alex, and I don't mean this as a dick.
Oh boy.
I do not mean this as a dick. But I have noticed that if the script isn't good, then like nothing else really matters.
Yeah, pretty much. I will make you mad.
I don't mean it in like a way like piss you off.
Right. I mean, it's pretty true. Like for me, yeah. I mean, if the script is bad, I'm almost certainly not gonna like it.
Yeah, it's basically like everything else, direction, acting, cinematography could all be perfect, but the screenplay doesn't work. So bad.
Yeah.
I think we've had even on here a few times we've had movies like that where I've defended.
You could be like that a little bit sometimes too, though, David.
Well, fuck you.
I'm not saying it's as much as him. Like you'll find other things, but there are some times where the script is just so bad you're like, nope.
Well, because there is such a thing as irredeemably bad.
Yes, but you're not like Jeff, where as long as it looked good visually, I didn't care.
Which some people are like.
That doesn't make Sucker Punch good.
Jeff, we love you. Come back on the podcast. We'll talk about Sucker Punch.
No, we won't. But that's okay. You can talk about any other movie you want.
But I see the weird thing though with Alex, I will say, is that in like the past 3 years since we graduated college, like you watched a lot more movies.
Like a lot.
and your taste have changed, I think, in the process of that.
Yeah.
Because when we left college, I'm sorry, you hadn't seen shit.
for like classic films, definitely true. I mean, I'd seen The Godfather at least. Unlike
yeah, but you hadn't seen Network or half the shit, and then you went like really overboard with it and started watching shit that I hadn't even heard of. You watched like at least a movie a day for like how many straight years?
Yeah, I tried to, I mean, like, pandemic helped with that, but it was like, yeah, for a solid, like, year-plus chunk, as it was not, like, literally, but, like, I probably got close to that average.
5 days a week, probably.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also helps that you kind of broaden your horizon on what you'll watch, too.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I'll knock down these ones on my shame list. Oh, this one is also supposed to be, like, all-time great. Oh, this one's really well-regarded. And then you just keep adding to the list, and then you keep going, and then you're like, oh, shit. Now I'm, like, out of these ones, time to find more.
And again, like with you, like how Justin gravitates to specific styles with like that 90s, 80s style. For you, 1970s. If I think of a movie that was you, 1968 to 1982.
Mm-hmm.
But like that time period, which arguably is the best film time period.
Yeah, that's my favorite one for sure.
But I think it's 70s. I think historical epic. I think dad movie, honestly. in a lot of ways.
Good dad movie, though.
Yeah, not like full dad movie.
Be like, back in my day, we used to have this. Not.
You're not going to be. I'm not going to walk into you watching Tora anytime soon.
Wow, that's it. You literally made my dad's favorite World War II movie.
Well, it's one of my dad's favorites too. That's why I said it. Because all dads tend to have a hive mind. I'm sure if we become dads, we will also enjoy this kind of movies.
It's like suddenly you like feel an urge to watch Tora and Longest Day.
Hey.
I'm not shitting on Longest Day. I'm just saying it's a dad movie.
It is a dad movie. My dad likes
Ferrari looks good. This was better than I remember.
Why'd I give this only like a 3? This is like the greatest movie ever made.
I mean, but that is probably Ferrari long enough to be a true dad movie. Because dad movies are like long.
I know. I think they literally made Ford v Ferrari in a dad movie factory. That was like a focus group of all dads.
I mean, that movie has to be like a historical event. I think that's one of the criteria.
It has to be exceptionally accurate, or they will find the inaccuracy.
Oh, I know. I'm aware. I know why my dad thinks Pearl Harbor is trash, and it's nothing to do with the movie itself.
Yeah, I know. My dad. Every time if we watch Saving Private Ryan, it's always, well, they would never send them after one soldier. Like, yeah, no, Dad. Like, I just want to watch the movie right now.
It's a movie. Calm down.
I guess I'll ask this before I move on because I've heard that's for Justin. So, do you guys think that what we're saying though is accurate of your guys' actual tastes? Is that what you feel?
For the most part, I don't fully feel the dad one. I feel the grandparents' basement aspect, but not fully the dad movie part. But everything else you said was pretty much accurate.
Yeah, because like stuff like Amadeus, that's a grandparents' basement movie.
It absolutely is, and it's amazing.
It's really good. Like I'm not bashing on that movie, but it's definitely a grandpa's basement movie. Justin, how about you?
I think it was pretty spot on at times.
Considering that you've admitted that you've seen that, like they introduced to a lot of the movies you talk about on like HBO.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's kind of hard to argue that your movie tastes are Saturday afternoon cable television.
Yeah, especially nowadays.
All right, let me have it.
All right. This is my moment. A David movie is probably some really fucking weird animated one that looks like it was hand painted by someone on LSD. And probably from like the 70s or 80s. I've never heard of it. It probably got like mixed reception, but is now well regarded for having dystopian thematic relevance and has some like crazy sequence and like a bunch of famous actors that you're like, wait, they were in this? If it's not animated, it's like very snappy dialogue heavy. It's probably satire, and it has a lot of like very sarcastic, mean characters, and yeah, to add to the satire.
Maybe a little Oscar baity at times.
Oh, kiss my ass, Austin. That's a low. Other than that, that's pretty.
So like Aaron Sorkin, not obviously the most recent, but like old school Sorkin, or like
I would
Sidney Lumet,
okay,
the guy who does the In the Loop, Iannucci.
Yeah. I would dispute Sorkin.
That's fair. I was just thinking of like a couple of them, like in like the early 2000s or like early to mid 2000s.
Sorkin. I can't dispute Iannucci.
No, that's yeah.
And considering that I was going to talk about a random 70s animated psychedelic movie later on this episode, I can't really argue at that point. That was pretty spot on.
What he said was spot on. Was definitely the weird concept into it, like something that's.
Yeah, it's definitely, which isn't bad. Yeah, it can be very good, but yeah, definitely the weird part I wanted to emphasize right at the beginning, because if I like it or not, whether I like it or dislike it, I know it's going to be weird.
See, I've noticed that I might be the autism brain, but I won't view weird shit as weird.
Maybe.
And I'll watch it with someone else, and they're like, "What the hell is wrong with you?"
Yeah.
I'm saying the bright colors go brr.
To be fair, we do. I'll turn to you and be like, "That was pretty good, but that was fucking weird."
I noticed that like my dad hates when I pick movies. He's gonna that's weird as hell. Like he's saying it's gonna be weird as hell if you pick it.
To be fair though, I mean there are times where I pick weird movies and my dad's like, "What the hell are you watching?" And I was watching Jojo Rabbit, and I'm like, I'm like, well, how do I explain this? We're following a kid who lives in Nazi Germany who has an imaginary friend who's Adolf Hitler, and he's trying to become a Nazi soldier. He walked out of the room.
My parents almost turned up Jojo Rabbit for that same reason.
Yeah, see, like I described it to them and they were like, "What's wrong with you?" And then like I showed them that movie and that's like their favorite movie released in the last like I don't know how many years.
It's really good, but it's weird.
Yeah.
But it's funny saying the concept out loud and you're like, yeah, this is a weird movie.
Even like as a kid, I'll admit, like my favorite show as a kid that was a cartoon was The Great Adventures of Billy and Mandy, which is very weird.
Yeah.
That's very strange.
So is Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah, Courage scared me. Courage was almost like too abstract. Although I did see the new movie with Scooby-Doo. Not terrible, not great. It's arguably not weird enough. Yeah, I was expecting satire to be the first thing that you said.
Oh yeah, see, it took me a little bit to get to that one, but it probably deserved to be up front. But I had to get weird in there first.
Well, see, my
whether
wife
I end up,
has...
like I love Brazil, that's weird as hell. Network is weird in like a different way, but is also satire. So that's really the top one. And but then there, one's like we talked Phantom of the Paradise. Yeah, Strangelove is like somehow the least weird one, even though it's like a little bit weird, but it's amplified for comedic effect.
Yeah, Phantom Paradise I do like. I'll be honest. And I feel like that when we talk about Red Shoes, you brought that comparison just to hurt me.
Actually, I hadn't thought of that one until the day of the podcast. I'm like, oh, because I looked up like it's one of Brian De Palma's favorites, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
I mean, it's pretty obvious. Actually, though, my wife, though, she talked a little bit about that in her theory, because she's noticed that I'm a very literal person, and that's why she thinks I like satire, is because usually the humor is very literal.
I could see that.
And very, like, direct.
Yeah.
So my monkey brain goes...
Yeah, because there's times where I'll make a sarcastic comment, and you'll think I was being serious, so...
There are a couple times where I think I picked fights with you too. You're like, calm down, we're joking. But yeah, satire is good. Fuck off.
Satire is great.
I like my weird shit, okay?
The way I'll get on board with the satire one. The weird shit, it depends on which kind of weird. Sometimes I'll be like, oh, that looks really cool. Otherwise, I'll be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Why take drugs when you can just watch Pink Floyd's The Wall?
When you can watch what was made while heavily under the influence of drugs.
Anyway, since we're kind of on the subject, I kind of wanted to do a retraction or an apology. On our episode of Secret of Nim, I spoke pretty critically of Ralph Bakshi and his adult animated movies, but I've recently tried to get back into like adult animation from like the 70s, the 80s. So I watched Fantastic Planet, which is weird as hell, but really freaking good. Wizards, which I deliberately sent Alex clips of just to fuck with him.
Yep. Okay, this is the one. Yep. Yep.
It's not what I'm going to talk about. What I'm talking about is American Pop, which
I was also thinking.
Which blew me away. I loved it. I don't think it's like an amazing movie per se, but I highly recommend it. It's visually really interesting. Some of the acting is kind of bad, and it's rotoscoped, so it's traced live action footage. So some of it looks really good. Some of it is Uncanny Valley Nightmare feel.
Yeah, I'm looking at that right now.
But some of the musical sequences are incredible. It's the story of 4 generations of a Jewish family told through their career as both music and criminals in the relation between music and crime. It's a really good movie. I highly recommend it. Alex will never watch it. It's on Crackle. Crackle sucks. But movie's good. And that's really all I have to say about it. Is just it's a good movie. Ralph Bakshi, I'm sorry for talking shit. Wizards, I didn't really get why people liked it so much, but American Pop I did really enjoy.
Because we're wizards.
Well, Wizards is interesting thematically and does some cool stuff with rotoscoping, but it's way too trippy for me. And that's saying something. So, Justin, you wanted to talk about some upcoming movie trailers that are coming out.
Yeah. One I saw, because I'm a big football fan, it's the American Underdogs. It's basically the Kurt Warner story. It's just like watching the trailer and looking at set photos. It's like, it looks like an SNL skit.
This light Hallmark movie.
Yeah, kind of Hallmark movie looking-ish. It's just like, it looks so... They didn't put money into it.
Is this that God's Not Dead 4 people keep talking about?
Basically.
Were people really clamoring for a Kurt Warner movie?
I don't think so.
Moms in the Midwest.
But like, what part of his life was like movie worthy?
What was the whole thing like? Oh, yeah, like I actually, well, believe it or not, I can help you out here as the resident expert because I read the book.
What?
Oh, is it based on the
Right.
book?
I read the Kurt Warner autobiography when I was in like middle school, so I can tell
Did
you.
you have like an AR program or something?
I had to read it. I had to read for like class where you pick a book and you got to read it and got to write about it. So I picked the Kurt Warner book. So I am the resident expert here.
Okay, then, Mr. Expert.
So,
What
guess-
part of the story is movie worthy?
well, because as the title says, he is an American underdog.
And
Because he was in the practice squad in like the early 90s and then was out of the league and stocking shelves for like 5 years, and then he got another shot, and then he became the MVP, blah blah blah.
Okay, didn't answer my question though.
Yeah, well, it's inspirational because he didn't give up on his dream even though he was stocking shelves, and then he became an MVP and won the Super Bowl.
This movie it looks bad. Watch the trailer. It looks terrible.
I mean, there are other football movies that the football actually looks good. This just looks, I don't know, it just looks all wrong.
Oh my god! I want to activate my rant because, like, literally, almost without exception, really, there's like one maybe. Like, all football movies shoot football like shit.
Yeah.
And it looks terrible. And every single time it comes down to a last-second play where they score a touchdown when the clock hits 0, and like they don't. It's like so painfully inaccurate. It's like if you have one person on set who knew what they were doing, you can actually make it interesting. But it looks like they're all shot the same way. With the exception of Friday Night Lights, that's the only one that's not shot exactly how the rest of them were shot.
It looks like this field is CGI.
Well,
It
it looks
probably
like
is.
from the photos I said, they just filmed in a stadium and then put green screen around and they CGI'd everything in like fans and shit.
Oh God!
And probably very cheaply.
Well, like,
Just do what Major League did. Offer free beer. You get people.
Easy.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of hate sports biopics or biopics, how the fuck you pronounce it.
Mhm.
I generally speaking,
Yeah,
think they're just like emotional porn in a sense.
Yeah, like, they did it. Look.
Look,
Oh,
they
the only
look-
one that's not is Rage.
or Space Jam.
Oh my! Which is, I mean, it's basically a documentary. We're talking about
Yeah.
scripted content
Sure, I'm sorry.
about how Michael Jordan saved us from intergalactic captivity.
See, and everyone keeps talking about how great The Last Dance is, and I'm sitting there going, I already sighed. But most of them are just like emotion for the sake of emotion, just dripping with sadness and like just feelings with like actual like no story content or weight whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Like, you're gonna see him fail, and he's gonna be super sad. He's gonna be stocking shelves, and he's gonna be super sad and talk to his wife, and she's gonna be like, "Don't give up, Kurt. You can't. You have to keep going." And then
It's your
you get
dream,
the
honey.
well, like
rise and emotions as he makes it.
Well, like you were saying, Alex, like they always win on the last second play or whatever. And I was like even my favorite football movie, Remember the Titans, it's like you learn later, it's like, oh yeah, they like won like 20 something to 0. It's like it wasn't even close.
I know, but every game, like, comes out of the very last play or touchdown right at the end. And of course, well, the problem is with this one is that it has history on its side because the Super Bowl he won, the dude literally gets tackled at the 1 yard line.
Yeah.
And they win. So they're gonna fucking exploit the shit out of that part.
Oh yeah, they will.
This is like the
Don't
closest that everyone's been to losing outside of that 1 yard line play that happened on a different Super Bowl later on.
Well, don't forget you're missing the montage of several games put together set to an AC/DC song.
Yep, where they're winning and he's throwing touchdowns all over the place, but they get that one loss that shakes his confidence, or the playoffs are coming and he's scared, but it's like, you made it this far, Kurt, you can do it. I wonder how bad this will look considering the budget of this movie.
I just feel like Kurt Warner is just a boring player to make a movie off of.
I mean, I think it's a cool story, but I don't think there's much.
Right, it's not like, it's not movie worthy enough because it's like, it was shit being out of the league, but not much happened there, and then he got back in and instantly dominated.
Well, I think like stuff like this for like what the NFL Network does. They do the NFL Life or whatever, and they talk about their stories. I think those are great.
Sports lends itself way better to documentaries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
With,
The Last Dance is amazing.
The OJ trial one.
OJ, man, I've been rewatching that actually recently, and it's just as good today as it was 5 years ago.
Because you actually get to see actual game footage of them playing. It's not fake stuff for the movie.
Right. Because again, they shot so poorly. Like you can really tell they're really not playing, or they're playing at like quarter speed, and it just looks awful. And basketball movies are just as big of offenders, but there's even less excuse for that because it's not like they're going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Basketball documentaries are better than like any other like sports movies I've seen. A lot of them are.
The only movies that are actually, I think, are kind of better than the actual sport, and that's boxing.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, Raging Bull, Rocky.
But basketball has Like Mike.
And Like Mike too.
Like Mike too. And Rebound. Don't forget Rebound.
Are we forgetting the greatest player in the history of sports, Air Bud?
Oh hell yeah, Air Bud.
See, he could do it all.
And the Air Buddies.
Multi-sport athlete. This doggo played every single sport and absolutely dominated.
Didn't get a penny for it.
I don't know how that's legal, but
that does not say you cannot have a dog on the roster.
Some high school team should just do that once. Who wants to tackle a dog?
that would honestly be really just as a joke. Some other team is a dog.
Well, I want to tackle him. He's so cute. Touchdown.
He tackles them. He gets booed. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yes, and
now entering the field, Michael Vick. Well, we lost.
Oh wow, that was good.
That was the only way that could logically go.
That was the logical end conclusion.
I will say, random tangent. If you're looking for a good new sports documentary, the Netflix one on the Malice in the Palace is amazing.
Oh, that's one of my favorite things. I should watch that.
It's like 15 minutes long.
Oh,
I'm just waiting for the inevitable, absolutely amazing Brady and Belichick documentary.
That's gonna be that ESPN 30 for 30 is gonna be incredible.
yeah,
That's gonna be sick.
Like even non-sports football fans are gonna be like, I need to see what happened.
Well, aren't the last is it the Last Dance guys who are working on the Vince McMahon one?
Yep.
That's gonna be awesome.
The memes that can come from that, there's unlimited potential. The man's already a meme, and we got so many good ones from Last Dance.
Because Vince McMahon's a lunatic because they want like the best businessman to ever live. I mean, like imagine if just a corporate CEO portrayed himself as a villain on TV.
And was like outrageously jacked.
I mean, he's basically saying what he is.
Imagine if Jeffrey Bezos walked on the line at Amazon warehouse and threw a pee bottle back at one of the workers. And then you have Vince McMahon. I think you're doing a Stone Cold Steve Austin one too.
Yeah.
That's my sports tangent. I have a movie trailer to talk about.
All right, go.
I want to acknowledge just how terrible Matrix Resurrections looks.
I didn't even watch that trailer. I'm afraid to. The choice is yours, and my choice is not to watch.
Blue pill.
I watched it out of sheer curiosity because I still haven't watched any of the Matrix movies, but I've seen clips and everything.
What?
Wait, hold up. Not in the first one?
Nope, I haven't. I gotta watch it.
So, which of us is picking it, David?
I mean, I feel like we just have to like say we're doing Matrix, not having to pick. We're just doing the Matrix.
But anyways, I checked it out. I've seen clips and everything, and I've caught some of the movies at times. But I'm just like why is
Let me
this?
guess, on TV?
Yeah.
On TNT?
No,
That's just on Spike.
AMC or whatever, early in the day. But I was watching the trailer. I'm like, man, this looks like shit. I'm like, I don't remember the other one being like that.
I don't know. Some people are saying it's going to undo the other sequels.
Why? The sequels were fine.
See, that's the thing. Unpopular opinion. Hot take. Matrix sequels are in hindsight, not as shit as we remember them.
No, I think they're pretty decent. Like, they're not one, but like that's like impossible. Like each one like actually had purpose and like expanded on the universe and had like good action sequences and kept up the character arcs. Like, they're not as good as one, but like I don't get their reputation. And then to just have some shitty movie like 15 years later that just undoes them because they think that's what people want, but then it's just gonna do nothing that the
that's
first
just rumors
one.
that they're gonna undo them.
Because I think they have to, because otherwise, I mean, I don't. That story ended. You know what I mean? Like, they concluded the story, so I don't see how else they could go on.
Like I do think that the Matrix Revolutions, that's the third one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think that one fumbled the landing quite a bit. But the mech suit battle against the robot squid things is pretty fun.
Yeah, that was sick. And the final Anderson Neo battle was pretty sick. But like,
you mean
a lot of like
you mean Smith Neo?
Oh yeah, that's right. That was fucking weird. But like
Anderson Neo fights himself.
But like some of the logic, like, it's been a while since I've seen it, but it was like it got convoluted. But like, there's a lot of really good stuff in that one too.
I mean, Matrix 1 is GOAT tier.
Yeah, everybody. That's like everyone agrees in peace.
Well, I think part of the reason why I also don't want to see the Matrix film is that the Wachowskis are shit now.
Yeah, they get progressively worse. Like after Matrix, it was like, oh.
I didn't actually mind Cloud Atlas, and I noticed that some people like Speed Racer
for some reason.
Justin, aren't you a fan of Speed Racer?
Yeah, I thought you were taking a shot at me here.
Well, I couldn't remember if it was you or Alex that liked Speed Racer, and then I realized why the fuck would Alex ever watch Speed Racer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's the greatest movie ever. I just enjoyed it.
Don't forget the greatest movie ever, Jupiter Ascending.
I was getting there. A performance so great, Eddie Redmayne should have an Oscar taken back.
I was gonna say V for Vendetta, but I forgot they didn't direct that.
Yeah, they just wrote it, which made me like they write. What other trailers have recently come out for stuff that's like still a ways out? Like it's like obviously Dune's coming out.
The West Side Story trailer dropped.
No one cares, Justin. Like no one's hyped for that movie.
There's the somehow progressively worse trailers for Venom. I'm
still gonna see that.
Habit. I don't know why.
Like I'm gonna probably have a beer and watch Venom.
Is it Paul Thomas Anderson trailer drop movie?
I haven't seen that trailer yet. Licorice Pizza.
Yeah. Like a poster for it.
I was kind of I didn't know what to make of it. But
how hyped are you guys for Eternals?
Eternals is coming out this year.
Yeah, November.
So
that explains.
There's still 2 Marvel movies left.
See, I still haven't even seen Shang-Chi.
I did. I haven't really said my piece on it on the podcast just because, honestly, it didn't move me either way. It wasn't amazingly good. It wasn't remarkably bad.
I've heard it was fine. Like, it had some good stuff, but like good action sequences and stuff. But like the plot is MCU. It's like
same versus same again.
That's the key to an origin story. Same versus same.
I feel like the lead actor.
So different.
Lead actor is a good actor.
Yes, like it's not a bad movie.
All I remember from the Eternals trailer was basically like, oh, they've been asleep until now. It's like, well, what the frick is like so important now that Thanos' snap was not important enough?
I know an opinion that will offend people. The Ghostbusters Afterlife trailers look like fan-made trailers.
Oh, I absolutely agree.
Was it Alex?
I agree.
The movie doesn't look real. It doesn't look like a real movie.
It looks like
I'm not saying it looks bad. It doesn't look bad.
No.
But it looks like different movies edited together to look like a Ghostbusters movie.
I was going to say it looks like a different movie was made and they're like, oh, we should turn this into a Ghostbusters, so let's go back and add stuff. And
they can't project it. Left only the real ones. Only the real ones will get that.
Yeah, I get that. I wish I didn't. We talked about it earlier, but I'm hyped for House of Gucci.
Yeah, that was really good.
That's a great trailer.
Yeah.
I was excited for Last Night in Soho, but the reception so far hasn't been super great.
Yeah, that was a little surprising.
It's just not scary.
Yeah.
But then again, I've been pretty soft on Edgar Wright. Like, people love him. I don't think Baby Driver is that amazing.
No.
Like, for me watching Baby Driver, it was whoop-de-doo, you set to music, congratulations. It's a really cool effect.
It was executed very well.
Yeah, it's done really well. There's some really cool action scenes. It doesn't have that wow factor for me. I see here we also have the Living Xanax commercial, Clifford the Big Red Dog. See, when we were talking about the Mario trailer, Clifford is what came to mind. Clifford is your Shader Kids movie trailer. like it's set to the BTS Dynamite song. It has all that, like the slapstick jokes, you know.
That's what making childhood cartoons into live action movies.
Well, I think it's more based off book than it is the show.
Oh, true.
Which were great books.
I forgot it was a book too.
The books are great, and the PBS show was amazing.
I didn't read much as a child.
You just like unplugged after the deep recesses of the show.
The show was great.
It was.
But if there's one movie, actually before I get to that, I see Encanto, which my wife really wants to see. I think it looks stupid as hell.
That's the Disney movie one, right?
Yeah, that's all I have to say on the matter is Encanto looks dumb.
Maybe horror movie people won't like this one, but like from all the trailers I've seen, I think the new Halloween one looks bad. Like that does not look like a good movie.
I did get a sneak peek of the soundtrack at the Alamo, and it was killer.
Oh yeah, because that's the part Carpenter's doing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like he's like it's not him doing it. It's probably not going to be very good.
Well, he didn't do the last one.
Right. Which I guess people like, but
yeah,
I don't know. This one doesn't look very good. I don't think.
King Richard doesn't look that great to me.
What's that?
That's the one where Will Smith, I think, played the Williams sisters' dad. However, the movie trailer that has lived rent-free in my head since it first premiered like over a year ago is Matt Reeves' The Batman.
Yeah, I knew it a year ago. I'm like, yep. Oh, that was one of the best trailers I've seen in a long time.
Made from like 1/4 of the movie.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I did barely.
And we're getting a new one in a couple of weeks at DC Fandom, which me and Justin have talked about because I'm actually we planned a trip and sometimes that might not be happening. So me and Justin are talking about at least streaming parts of DC Fandom and live reactions for some of the big events. So we might be doing that.
Yeah.
Alex, I know you wouldn't want to do the whole event.
Yeah, I'm like, we're Batman.
Yeah, me and Justin would probably consider doing like the whole event, but
you'll just come in for the Batman.
Which this DC Fandom I'm actually excited for because the last one they just showed shit we already knew existed but wasn't far enough along to actually show anything. Now we're at a point where stuff like The Flash, Shazam 2, Black Adam, Batman are all much further along production.
Yeah,
and might actually have stuff to show.
Yeah, Batman, like I'm not gonna be able to resist it, but part of me almost doesn't want to watch the trailer because I'm like the first one was so good and I know I'm seeing that movie. That being said, I'm not gonna be able to resist.
And people, I don't want to hear all the comments about Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson fighting. I don't care.
Until it comes out that they're not making another movie together, then I'm not going to worry about it.
Exactly.
Is movie good? Yes. Okay.
And the Batman looks like they took all the inspiration from The Long Halloween, which is my second favorite Batman story. I think it's your top one, Alex.
It is. Yeah, that's my favorite.
Have you read it, Justin?
That's right, because
no.
You got to. You have to.
To me, that's like perfect Batman. Like that right there is like exactly how I want Batman stories.
And is this when I talk about the Long Halloween movie quick? Or are we waiting until? Are we
talk about it quick? You're gonna activate your rant.
I know, I did it to myself. Well, Alex, you're talking about watching it. If you're gonna watch it, I'll wait.
I'm scared to now. First off, because I'm simultaneously scared of not liking it and wasting my time. I'm also scared of liking it and incurring your wrath. So
you're not gonna like. You are not gonna like.
Because see, like you said, it took out the ambiguity, but I like the mystery, but like I knew who it was like right away. No, although it is a bit ambiguous, I thought it was kind of obvious.
It's a lot. It dumbs it down a lot more. It dumbs down everything. Well, okay, I'll talk a little bit quick, just so this isn't a big wasted segment. But adapting specific comic book storylines, there's a reason why movies don't do it. Like the big live action ones that are hundreds of millions of dollars, there's a reason why they don't do exact full storylines. It's because if you do it right, then people online go, well, why'd you just do the story? You just copy paste it, do your own thing, that kind of thing. And if you name it off the book but change it, then it's, oh my god, how could you possibly change it? Now, sometimes changes are good. Sometimes, like Batman Hush, change is terrible because it undoes everything. And the changes made for Long Halloween are on par with changes for Batman Hush. Where it doesn't just change the story, it changes the meaning of the story. And one character specifically, try to think of a way to give away to Alex without spoiling it.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I already know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, character, it's beyond character assassination. Like they destroy it with some promising young woman bullshit that murders that character. If I told you, you would laugh hysterically. But I don't want to because you might see it. So Long Halloween, clearly praised. People love it. I don't get it. And my wife, who didn't read the book until after, because we saw part 1, she read the book that night and then watched part 2 the following day.
Read all of Long Halloween in one night? Damn.
She's a fast reader. And honestly, Long Halloween flows like a clip. Like that's one of the fastest paced books I've ever read. In a good way. It moves perfectly quickly. Movie does not. It's 2 parts, which is stupid because it's a 3-hour movie that still cuts out roughly half the book.
How is it 3?
Like the first. So Alex, this will make sense to you. So the first part is Halloween through New Year's, but it cuts out almost the entirety of that first Halloween chapter.
But then, how do they fill the time?
Just random bullshit. Yeah, it's people love it. I don't get it. My wife hated the first part and then read the book and didn't like it even more because she's like, in the book everything makes sense. In the movie it doesn't, and that's my take on that without spoilers, I guess. Also, the animation is garbage. Don't at me. You all know it's shit. You all know that's the worst part of the movie. Is the animation straight up Archer. Let's end this show with one final little conversation. This is a question for Justin. Talk to Alex. Justin, a question for you. Have you finished all of Star Wars Visions?
I think all but 2.
So last week we talked about Star Wars Visions. I watched them all. My wife's obsessed with it. Like to the point where she wants us to watch the behind-the-scenes documentaries on it. Like she loves that show. But there's one short that we didn't talk about last week I want to briefly touch on, especially because you haven't seen all of them. So we'll just talk about this one, because this one is the big one. And that is the 5th short, The Ninth Jedi.
This one was great.
Alex, if you only watch one of them, watch this one. Holy shit. It's what the sequel movies should have been. I was mad. I was mad after watching it because, like, this is what we should have got.
Let me see. I'm at least going to look up the plot summary for this to see what it's about to, like, get an idea.
Well, I'll just say it just for people out there who don't or who can't read off your laptop. It takes place generations after the original trilogy, where the Jedi and Sith have returned to like mythic status, and it's about the formation of a Sith empire, basically, and a small formation of Jedi to create a new Jedi Order to fight the Sith empire. That's the most bare bones way of saying the plot. Justin, if you want to add anything more.
I was gonna just say it basically kind of goes back to, it's like each from their history they were talking about pretty much seemed like at times the Jedi were in charge. There were more Jedi, and then also there were more Sith. They were having the fight for balance or whatever, basically.
It basically saying that the balance was not achieved during the Luke Skywalker era. And that's personally what I want. I wanted the new movies. I wanted a movie that took place far away from the OG trilogy.
Yeah, far away, and like actual like the threat needed to build up, and the Disney movies is just like, oh, there's a whole empire again, but how doesn't matter. They're not called the Empire. They're called the
First Order.
How'd they become powerful? We don't know.
And you
until they become the Final Order.
And they were all planned by Palpatine back during the prequel era. Okay.
But this short undoes all of that and tells what is genuinely a great story that made me so angry because I wanted to see more.
I want to see more of it.
So yeah, Alex, if you only see one of these shorts because we complain too much, That one you might actually enjoy.
We'll see.
Sam, respond. I know you're listening.
No, you're out there.
We know you're out there. Alex sold you out. Give us your terms. I know if you make him do it, he'll do it. What do we need to do to get that to happen?
Babe, please. No.
Here's some interesting news that just broke. NFL announces Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Mary J. Blige, and Kendrick Lamar will perform the 2022 Super Bowl halftime show.
Shit.
What?
Holy shit.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit. No way.
Yeah.
What?
Super Bowl performance might actually be good.
0 out of 10.
That's actually good.
Okay, a Snoop Dogg halftime show.
And Dre and Eminem and Kendrick. That's really good.
Are they gonna play next episode, like at the Super Bowl halftime show? They have to, right? Or still?
Yeah, they'll play. Yeah. I feel like there will be a Snoop and Dre one from like old school, and then Eminem will come in, and then they'll like keep going that way. I feel like because you only get like 15 minutes or whatever, right?
I thought it was like 20.
It's about 15.
I'm shocked. That's
big.
That's a good lineup. It's a good lineup.
I did like the Weekend one, to be honest.
But I'm
Everyone
also
craps on the Weekend. I like that show a lot.
Yeah, it was like actually interesting, and like what like the stuff he did like related to the song, so like I really enjoyed that.
But also,
and like there were good songs.
I'm also looking where the Super Bowl takes place because I forgot it's in Los Angeles. That kind of makes sense now.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I just wonder if we're gonna get any crazy stuff from that group.
I don't know.
And well,
Will Ice Cube
me-
show up?
That's true. See, to me, he should only show up if he performs F the Police. Only reason why he should show up.
Yeah.
But to me, the top tier for crazy over the top Super Bowl halftime show, I don't like her music, but Katy Perry.
That is the GOAT show. Like, I mean, she came in on like a giant lion, and then
Tiger.
It was a tiger. You're right.
Because of the song.
We had trees, people dressed as trees and beach balls. It was
Left
amazing.
Shark.
Honestly, any of the singing. I just remember the absolutely amazing
Performances.
It was so insane that it's like you have to give it up to her. Like that was by far the most entertaining one I've seen.
I mean, Left Shark, Lenny Kravitz riffing on guitar for 30 seconds and disappearing into the ether. Her on the NBC More You Know Star flying her away. I mean, everyone kind of expected that from Lady Gaga, but hers was pretty tame by comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, a little disappointing in that I'm like, I want the crazy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's entertaining.
That's why I liked last year. The Weekend was kind of fun too.
Yeah, the Weekend he went all out with it. He got crapped on by a lot of people. I liked it a lot.
It's always
Yeah, I
funny
didn't
because
really
it's like I always seem to like the ones that everyone else hates for some reason.
See, because a lot of people seem to not like the crazy shit. And I love the crazy shit.
Like it's the perfect time to do crazy shit. It's like you're at a Super Bowl party or whatever, or a Superior Owls party.
Super
owl party.
Hopefully a lot of you got that reference.
Yeah, no, I'm watching a really short random performance that's like it doesn't differentiate itself. I mean, unless you're Tom Petty, but
And you want a performance because you can barely hear the music half the freaking time anyways.
That's also true. That also made the Weekend one good because you actually hear what's going on. I mean, he had that orchestra, like violins on top of the stadium, and then had like that weird, like had to be like 200 people all in that mask doing like the march.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Visually, it was super impressive. The direction game of the NFL TV staff was top notch.
Yeah, like when he did the Joker cam, when he did like the one right in front of his face, like that was I'm sure really hard to do.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. The worst one to me by far is either Black Eyed Peas, or the 50th one of Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Oh, that was bad too. Yeah, I think Black Eyed Peas was, to me, Black Eyed Peas was that was so bad, which is funny because that's the year we won.
Yeah.
Yep, that's the Packers one.
Year. I think I remember the national anthem being bad too that year. It was like all the music was terrible, and I don't care because the Packers won.
That's because she like forgot, whoever sang the national anthem like forgot a line or whatever, and you could just see Mike McCarthy just face kind of go like, "What just happened? Did I just have like a mini stroke broke where I didn't hear part of the line?
Frank Drebin's out there singing the national anthem. Was the Black Eyed Peas, was that the one where Slash came on stage?
I have no idea.
And then Fergie like grinded all over Slash?
I think so.
I just remember the
That was the white T-shirt one, wasn't it? Where all the people were in like glow in the dark T-shirts in like the audience.
Probably.
maybe. I don't remember it well enough.
All I remember is like you couldn't. Yeah, it is. I'm looking at images. All I remember is like you couldn't hear anything they were saying.
Yeah, which was probably because they sounded horrible live.
I liked The Who.
That was good.
But I'm also a dad with dad music taste.
Who doesn't like
Yeah,
The Who?
I still the best like literal like performance like the music was Tom Petty.
I don't even remember that one.
That was the one where the Giants beat the Patriots, who were undefeated.
That might have been before I really watched football.
Oh, yeah, look that up then. It was really good, and it like thematically fit the game, and then yeah, it was like one of the best games ever.
Have you guys seen the Disney one?
The Disney one.
From the year 2000?
I don't think so.
Mickey on Rent.
No, it was like an Epcot themed.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
It's so weird. Edward James almost narrates it with like Phil Collins.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I know this one. This is scary. This is what Disney wants the world to look like, everyone.
Yeah, it's so weird. Look it up if you haven't seen it, people. It's
like
bizarre. Looking through Kennedy. Well, I mean, obviously the one everyone knows is Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep.
For very obvious reasons.
Another really bad one was Maroon 5 because they butchered Sweet Victory.
Dude, they just play with our emotions.
Bad.
I remember everyone in our age group I had talked to after that was so pissed off.
Well, I mean, they had that thing where within to sicko mode. Apparently, they actually did play Sweet Victory, but not on TV.
Then what's the point?
I mean,
Yeah.
I guess to me, what needs to happen is Pepsi needs to no longer be involved with it.
Good luck.
Because Pepsi's like ruined the halftime show.
Yeah, it's all about the Pepsi halftime show featuring Pepsi, and they have a lot of control over it.
Because the last not Pepsi one was the Madonna one, which was freaking wild too. Do you guys remember that one?
I don't. What year was that?
It was the year after Black Eyed Peas. It was Giants Patriots.
Again.
It was when she came in on like an Egyptian empress bed.
Yeah, I see. Yep.
And they like carried her. It was weird. It wasn't even that good, but it was weird. And then the first Pepsi one was Beyonce, which sucked.
Oh, that's right. LMFAO was part of that one, and so was Nicki Minaj for some reason.
Remember LMFAO?
And CeeLo Green.
CeeLo Green. Oh.
And we had Beyonce, which was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Bruno Mars and Red Hot Chili Peppers, which I remember actually not hating.
I didn't hate it. I never listened to a lot of his music.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job.
That was the best part of
Katy Perry.
that was the best part of that Super Bowl because the commercials sucked and the game was boring.
What game was that?
That was the Broncos versus the Seahawks. And that,
The one that was just a massacre.
yeah, from first snap.
Yeah, literally just goes over his head. I'm like, oh, so this is the kind of game it's gonna be.
Was the Beyonce one? Was that the game with Ravens and 49ers?
No, I think that was Katy Perry because that was in New Orleans.
No, the Katy Perry one was Seahawks.
Yeah, Katy
Patriots.
Perry was Arizona.
Was it? I thought.
No,
Because I was in college for Katy Perry. I was not in college for Beyonce.
Right, yeah, the Katy Perry one was Seahawks versus Patriots, the 1 yard line game.
Oh, that maybe Beyonce was the Superdome one.
That's the way I know because that was when I was at Madison.
Because Katy Perry was, I'm sure everyone there was rooting for Russell Wilson.
Yeah, well, see, but people didn't like the Seahawks because of what happened the game before that.
That's true. I forgot. We
It was
talked
very
about that.
confusing for people. See, I hated the Seahawks at this point, even before that game that we don't talk about. Shout out to my cursed Packer shirt that's no longer cursed. Thanks, Sam. But it was so satisfying to see their faces when that interception happened.
We're not talking about movies anymore. This isn't even the same podcast.
Oh yeah, we've devolved into football. You got me going.
Yeah, we're not even doing the podcast anymore. We're just talking.
Why are you? You're still here? Go home. That's right. I brought up Ferris Bueller. Fuck you.
Okay, finally, can we talk about Maroon 5? This is big for us because I wasn't living there at the time. This is right by where I live, and that's the Justin Timberlake one at US Bank Stadium.
Oh yeah.
That one was kind of lame too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't remember much from it. It was like at this point, any halftime one I don't like actively hate. I'm like, okay, like this felt filled the time.
It's Minneapolis. There has to be Prince. Can't forget Prince, the purple one.
Mm-hmm. That one was pretty good from what I remember.
Well, Prince's was great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he did it like in the middle of a downpour.
Yeah. It was pouring rain. He's a good musician. It's just, we're obsessed with Prince. That's really true.
It's just a Minneapolis thing.
We're not going to talk about the Shakira Jennifer Lopez.
That was weird. That was weird.
That was a weird show too.
Then next year they followed it up with Maroon 5, and that got weird too. And I was like,
no, Shakira was after Maroon 5.
You sure?
Yes, I'm looking at the list right now, Justin.
Yes,
okay.
Shakira was Chiefs 49ers because I remember I was at like a Super Bowl, like a small Super Bowl party, and then the year after was quarantine, so that was this last one.
Got it.
Yeah, because I remember the Shakira Jennifer Lopez one felt like a theme park concert show that just randomly happens in the area right by the food pavilion. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up. We're not even talking about what this podcast is about anymore. And I'm pretty sure, I think one of us forgot we were still recording. So I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for listening. We'll probably have a much more contained show next week. So listen, stay tuned. Lots of big movies coming out. Dune, Bond, and Many Saints of Newark. So we'll be talking about all that stuff in the next couple weeks. So please stay tuned. Thank you so much for listening. Let us know your thoughts on all this stuff we talked about this week on Facebook and YouTube. And for Alex and Justin, I'm David Yanish. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to Idiot Block. You can find us on Spotify, Anchor FM, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell to get a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, follow us on Facebook and Letterbox. The links are in the description.